Hey everybody, this is Jack. He's a good kitty.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Graz, Jack, Evie.
Hi.
I am here today. I'm going to use my phone. So I just took a photo of it. Our printer is very sketchy. I'm going to do my May reading wrap up. So what I'm going to do is I read 15 fiction books and 1 nonfiction book in the month of May. So I'm not going to show you the books. I'm not really going to go in depth in each one. I might say a little bit. Who knows what's going to happen once I start talking. I emulate my buddy Tad, where once I get going, I start talking. But anyway, so I'm just going to tell you the nonfiction book I read, and then I'm going to go through the fiction books that I read, and I'm going to go worst to best according to my rating system. I'll tell you the book, the author, maybe the page count, and then my rating, and then who knows. But first up, I can actually show you the book. The nonfiction book I read was And in the End by Ken McNabb, which is the last days of the Beatles. That's basically a month-by-month recap of 1969. So it was pretty, I mean, knowing how it was going to end, you know, excuse me, I might do that more than once. I'm having some internal issues. Anybody that follows my channel knows I'm not really well. But, so that's what that was. So then, at number 15 was Marx the First by Bruce Marshall. 181 pages. And this is a 1975 book. Kind of a fun fact, I guess, maybe unfun fact. Of the bottom 10 books, of my bottom 10 rated fiction books that I've read this year so far, out of like 50 or something, because I've read about 11 or 12 nonfiction books, and I don't really rate those, because, you know. But of the fiction books, of the bottom 10 rated, 9 of them are from 1975. So I must be the best thing to come out of 1975. So. But yeah, Marx the First by Bruce Marshall. This was about a pope and Catholicism, and I'm still, even after reading it, I'm still unsure if it's meant to be a satire or serious. I didn't get it. Plus, there's a lot of stuff in there where they talk about it where I didn't really get it because I don't really know Catholicism all that well. A lot of repetition of His Holiness, her Holiness, all that stuff. So I got a 5.77 out of 10. That's not very good. I mean, for my ratings, if you want to do the Goodreads rating, you just have to take my number and divide it by 2. So that would be like a 2.9 almost. Not even a 3-star. So at number 14 is The Key to the Indian by Lynn Reed Banks, 275 pages. This was the book 5 of the Indian in the Cupboard series. And I really don't think it needed to be written. Honestly, book 4 probably didn't need to be written either. And maybe even book 3. The first 2 told the story just right, but, you know, money talks. Quality walks. This got a 6.36 out of 10. Maybe I'll talk more about these in the future. Maybe I won't. At number 13 is Orbitsville by Bob Shaw, 193 pages. This is a science fiction book from 1975. I just didn't dig it. Apparently it starts a series. I won't be finishing it. Are you okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I was groaning for you.
Yeah. 6.42 out of 10. And those are the 3 worst books. Everything else is going to be 3.5, actually 3.6 or higher if you go by the Goodreads rating. At number 12, we have The Mystery of the Cupboard, Lynn Reed Banks, 246 pages. I can't remember if this was number 3 or 4 in the series of The Indian in the Cupboard. I can't remember. But it was okay. it was kind of more of the same. But 7.24 out of 10. At number 11 was the Reading List Project book. And actually, this is the lowest rated Reading List Project book that I've had out of the whole thing. And it was Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. I understand that it's a classic and people just love it, but it was not written with me in mind. Middle grade girls? Sure. 49-year-old men? No. That got a 7.27 out of 10. I just found the first half far too preachy. And I don't know, there just wasn't enough to it for me. At number 9 was The Robber and Me by Joseph Holub, 207 pages. This is a middle grade book, and it was my first shelf book. The shelf, if you're just tuning in for the first time, is all the books that I owned before this year. It's kind of like my own version of the Read What You Own challenge. I try to read 2 to 3 or maybe 4 of those a month. That way I do clean out my what I've owned shelves while still reading stuff that I buy. You know, I watered it down, but that's how I do it. But yeah, it was The Robber and Me, and that was a 7.83 out of 10. And then we have the Bronte book of the month. The daughter and I are reading all the Bronte sisters books in order of publication. And for May, it was The Tenant of Wildfell Hall by Anne Bronte. It got a 7.83 as well out of 10. But it was incredibly predictable. I mean, you could tell right away what was going to happen. I'm going to try and not give any spoilers. But it was very predictable. And it was kind of like 2 books in one. Like the first quarter and the fourth quarter were like one story. Mm-hmm. And then the middle 2 quarters were the main female character's backstory. I don't know. Anyway, moving on, at number 8 was American Flag by Howard Chaykin, 440 pages. That was the next graphic novel in that the top 100 graphic novels of all time list that I do. It was okay. The artwork was good. It took me a while to figure out the hype and the hook, but it was all right. I might eventually talk about that. And that was a 7.93 out of 10. Okay, everything else is 4 stars or 8 stars, or 8 and higher. At number 7, we have Superman Red Sun by Mark Miller, 168 pages. And that was actually the book just before American Flag in that top 100 graphic novels of all time list. And that got an 8.00 out of 10. That's kind of a neat one because it's Superman, or Kal-El, Superman as a baby, when his capsule lands, it doesn't land in Smallville, U.S., it lands in Russia. And he grows up with Russian ideals. It's kind of neat. Okay. Number 6, you're about to have cats are arriving.
Hi, Mickey. Oh.
And John. Hey.
John, Mickey.
Come on. Go do something else. Okay? Okay, I forgot what I was doing here.
You were on the Superman one.
Okay. Number 6 is The Secret of the Indian by Lynn Reed Banks, and that was 171 pages. And I think that was either the one I mentioned before that I wasn't sure if it was 3 or 4. This is the one that's either 3 or 4 too. So that, And that one was 8.23 out of 10. Okay. Number 5 of the month was The Return of the Indian by Lynn Reed Banks. 189 pages, and this is number 2. And this is actually where the book should have stopped, or the series should have stopped. It was a very perfect ending, and that's where it should have stopped. 8.38 out of 10. I might be having those mixed up. Maybe 3 was a good ending point. It's been a while, and I read all 5 of them in 1 month. But still, it didn't need to go 4 and 5. That's guaranteed. Number 4 was my book for Horror Mayhem, where you had to read a horror book in the month of May. And it was Day by Day Armageddon by J.L. Bourne. 212 pages. And that's basically like a day-by-day journal account of the zombie apocalypse and trying to survive it. And it's very good. There's actually 4 of that, 4.5. I guess there's a short story too. And I'm going to pick those up. I ordered 2, 3, and 4. And 4.5 is actually just a Kindle book. So that was 8.62 out of 10. Number 3, you guessed it, The Indian in the Cupboard by Lynn Reed Banks. 227 pages. This is book number 1. 8.63 out of 10. It's the best of the series, obviously, in my opinion. It's very good. And honestly, it ended neatly, so it could have just been a 1 book. A standalone without a series. But like I said, money talks, quality walks. Number 2, Preacher, book 1 by Garth Ennis. 335 pages. This is the current graphic novel series that is the Marvelous team up with Tad at Tad Reads Books and Stuff and me. Fantastic. And I have Tad to thank because about a year ago he sent me a box, or a year and a half. He sent me a box and it had Preacher books 1 and 2 in it. So we're finally getting around to reading it, and it's exceptional. And if you're curious about what we think of those, both of our channels have videos, so go check those out. And that was an 8.75 out of 10. I'm sorry, Day by Day Armageddon was not Horror Mayhem. It was like Zombie-thon or something for May. You had to read a zombie book, and I obviously was going to do that. My number 1 book of the month was for Horror Mayhem. And actually, this tied Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier for my top-rated book of the year so far. And that's like 60 books, or 58 books or something through May. And that is The Haunting of Velkwood by Gwendolyn Christie. 256 pages, and it was an 8.79 out of 10. And it was such a unique and interesting way to do ghosts. Excuse me. And it was, I don't know, maybe I'll do a ups and downs on it. You know, there were some downs, obviously. But now that's all the books I finished in May. I also read about 160 pages of a chapter a day in Don Quixote. Which, if you're paying attention, I actually finished just recently in June. I'm not going to do the dance again. But there is an ups and downs coming for that. So that's my May reading wrap up. 16 books, 4,433 pages, which was an average of like 140 pages per day. My biggest page count day was it was between 4 something and 550 maybe. I can't remember the exact thing. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that though. And I read 2 1975 books and 2 shelf books. So for 1975, that gives me 16 for the year. And for shelf books, that gives me 11. So not bad. What? I'm getting a dirty look from the doctor.
You're not, I'm just looking at you.
Okay. So that's my reading wrap up. Exciting month for me. I turned 49 on the 17th, and Father's Day is that weekend. So people are giving me money to go shopping for books. So I'm going to And I've gotten a few other things too, including something really awesome. Well, everything's gonna be awesome, but one thing transcends. But so I'm at the end of the month. Once I'm sure everything's here, I'm gonna do a grand haul, the Grosel Grand Haul.
The Graz Hall.
The Graz Hall. There you go. That works.
I'm so smart.
Hashtag Graz Hall. So that's coming. That's gonna come at the end of the month of June. I got the Ups and Downs for Don Quixote coming. I got Preacher, the next Marvelous team up thing coming. I'm probably gonna do that soon, Tad. If you watch this, Tad, let me know how you want to handle book 2 because there's 14 issues in it, not 12. So I know we said we were gonna do 6 at a time, and I know you already did the first 6. So do you want to do 6 and then 8? It's up to you. Let's see. What else do I have coming up? Anything? Can you think of anything? Well, we're two Bronte videos behind.
I might make a short Saturday, but I have to discuss that with Father after.
Okay. But yeah, we got to do Agnes Grey and Wuthering Heights.
Yeah.
Maybe we can put those in the same video. I'm not sure.
We did Agnes Grey. We have to do Wuthering Heights and The Tenant of Wildfell Hall.
Sorry. Yeah, we did Agnes Grey.
It's okay.
Yeah, we have to do Wuthering Heights and The Tenant of Wildfell Hall. And we're currently reading Shirley. Well, I am. She hasn't started yet. I'm about 94 pages in of 482. Is it a romance? Isn't it a romance? Is it going to be this boring the whole time? Charlotte is wordy.
Yeah,
That's what I'm going to say.
From what you've been telling me, not excited to start that.
But, go check out the newest video that we put out. I did a tag the other day, and I walked through a cemetery, so doing a tag, so that was kind of neat. I'm very distracted in that video. I just kind of let my spaceship mind go. So if you like organization, don't watch that.
Don't watch this channel.
Right, because I'm all over the place constantly. But I told you at the very beginning of my newbie book tag I was going to be erratic, and I have delivered. Anyway, that'll be it. Let me know if I've made you want to read any of these, or if I've helped you not read some of the bad ones. Seriously, stay away. Unless you're seriously into Catholicism and want to know if it's a satire, then read Marx the First. Otherwise, run. And Orbitsville might fit for some people who really, really want to be completionists on science fiction or whatever, but it just wasn't for me. I mean, seriously, they go... Minor spoiler, they go out into the galaxy and they find a planet that's like a big metal planet, and inside it's big enough for like 1 billion Earths. Really? It's literally the size of 1 billion Earths. Whatever, Bob Shaw, whatever. But let me know what you thought or what you think, if you've read any of these, if you want to. You know, if I've made any of them sound interesting. And I'll see you later in the week. I guess it's already later in the week. We're over the halfway point. But soon with something else. And until next time, this is the new outro, by the way. So I hope you all like it. I will see all of you down the road reading more.